You know, with the release of Season 6, I was really hoping that, at least for the foreseeable future, I wouldn't have to be making this video. But it's kind of come to the point where, like, I feel like I'm just bashing my head against a brick wall, right? Like, every time I load up the game, it's the same thing over and over again. And I'm starting to get really frustrated with the state of the game, and I just want to make a video just venting these frustrations out. I have some footnotes, but most of this is going to be completely unscripted, and this is only going to be talking about the Grand Race from the perspective of, I'd say, a semi-competent player. I'd say I'm pretty decent at these, right? I've been doing them for over a year since the game came out. I'm part of a team. You know, I've raced in the TCM League, which is the highest level of competition in this game possible, right? There's nothing higher than that, maybe apart from like the Trigger Leagues, right? But it's the same sort of thing, right? It's the same thing. So without further ado, I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna get straight into it because I've got food coming, bro, and I want to get this off my chest. Let's talk about the map design in this game, and specifically let's talk about Maui and how I think now, with the benefit of hindsight and how we've had it now for over 4 months, I think Maui is now just making the game worse. With how they're designing the tracks in this game, I do not see a benefit to keeping Maui in the game. Obviously, like, don't remove it from the game or anything, but not that they would, but I am seriously doubting whether or not I'm going to enjoy Maui being in the game from now until the game's end of life, right? All it has done is add tracks to the game that are just completely... There's no skill expression. There's one course currently on Maui that has a high skill ceiling to it. Other than that, the rest of Maui is just like boring. It's so boring to drive on, and it mostly stems from the fact that it's added like 2 highways to the game, and with Season 6 they've added another highway route, which is actually the longest highway route in the whole game now. That's cool. You can see that right now. I will show the B-roll for that right now, because I did a race on it earlier while recording a video. There is the B-roll. It is basically an entire Street Tier 2 section, and then over half of a Street Tier 1 section on a highway. Very awesome, very engaging track design from Ivory Tower. Very, very cool. Okay. There's also a bunch of unused roads. Like, there's so many roads on Maui, and still Oahu as well, that are just going unused, that would be so much more interesting to race on than the shit that we've got. And Season 6 barely added anything new to the game, right? I think we got like one like actual like brand new route that we haven't driven on before, right? Most of Season 6 just swapped the categories and maybe like spliced 2 different routes together from Season 5. It's like really like strange. Like, it can't be that hard to make a fucking Grand Race route, man. Like they're so bad. Like, I'm convinced that they're made by a fucking like an AI, right? Sorry, that was my phone pinging. But anyway, I'll talk more about Maui and my frustrations with it a little bit later, when I get to my point about Ivory Tower themselves. But for now, I want to move on because I want to keep this snappy, and I don't want to go on another rant like I've done for the past 9 recordings I've tried to do for this. There is still broken collision in the game after... How long has it been out now? And I'm going to use Maui as an example again. There is... Obviously, this is notorious. If you've driven on Maui, you know this is here, right? There's a mountain route in Rally Raid where you will go up a hill and then down the hill onto a highway, ironically. Right? This rally raid route has a corner on it before you go down the hill, where honestly it's a really well made corner. It's a really fun corner to take once you learn it, and you know, it's quite difficult to find the right line for it. I remember I didn't know the correct line to take for this corner until like a month before season 6. It took like 3 months for me to figure out how to take this corner fast. But the reason for that isn't because it's a well-made corner. It's because there is a... People think it's a rock. It's not. I have pictures of it. I'll show them on the screen now. It's a bit of map geometry that's sticking out of the ground. And if you hit it, it'll dead stop the car and launch it in the air. It's been in the game for over 4 months now. This route came out with Maui, and it hasn't left the game. If you've raced on Maui, you've seen this before. You've like, I will guarantee, I'll bet money on it, that 90% of the people watching this video have hit this random ass, like, bit of geometry that's sticking out of the ground. And yet, Ivory Tower just somehow don't know that it's there. Is it intentional? Is it supposed to be there? I don't understand. What is it adding to the game if it is? Like, could someone fix this? Hello? Like, what is it doing here? It's so dumb. And obviously, I've shown pictures of it, but there's other cases of it as well. Like, there's like invisible rocks. You know, the hitboxes on some like walls and stuff stick out more than they should. So you end up like clipping it and just like, it's just dumb. It's really annoying. Obviously, like, stuff like that, it's going to be in any game. Like, it's unavoidable, right? But for something like that to be in the game for over 4 months and go unnoticed by the devs is just unbelievable to me. It's actually like hard to fathom how dumb that is, right? But here we are. We're currently 4 months into Maui being in the game, and we haven't even heard anything about it from Ivory Tower, so I know, maybe it was intentional. Okay. Now that I've ranted about Maui, we can move on to Season 6. Season 6 for the game brought what I actually think is the most changes that the Grand Race has gotten in one update before. I don't know, I might be wrong about that. But for some of it, it's actually like good. I think there's added variety to the Grand Race that we haven't seen before. Although I think that variety that they're adding is ironically going to get stale quite fast. So they added new modifiers to the game. One of them being something I actually wanted. But the way they've implemented it, they've somehow fucked it up. I don't know how you messed this up, to be honest. So they added a modifier that limits your car selection, right? So you can only select out of a pool of curated cars, which is something I've wanted since they've introduced the no collision modifier, right? I've always wanted them to add modifiers where like you're limited to only a certain number of cars. However, they also in the same update added a 24-hour modifier to Saturdays. So on a Saturday, it is a modifier that is on all day. Okay. Why is one of the modifiers the curated vehicle modifier? The first one we got was last Saturday, which is the first Saturday that the update is seen, and we're going to see another one tomorrow. Fingers crossed, and I'll update this in the pinned if they do. Fingers crossed that it's not a vehicle one, because if it isn't, this point I'm about to make is null. But if this is actually what it's going to be every Saturday, is just the curated vehicle modifier, that is just so dumb. It's probably one of the dumbest changes. Sorry, my phone pinging again. That's probably one of the dumbest changes I think I've ever seen in a PvP game, like, in my life. You are intentionally limiting player choice, regardless of meta. Throw that out the window for a second, right? I don't want you to think about meta, because meta is going to be a thing no matter what you do, right? You are throwing out player choice for an entire day. Not for 20 minutes, for a day. And it wouldn't matter if it was a separate queue, right? If it was a separate queue, it'd be fine. It'd be like, whatever. Just like... But it's not. It's in the main queue. The only queue for Grand Race, right? Think about it for a second. Even as a casual player, right? And this is something that a lot of casual players, like, you know, they made the point that, oh, like, you know, it means, like, you know, the fast players can't drive meta. First of all, they can, because meta isn't just a thing that exists only in base game. It exists as a blanket thing for everything, for the best choice in whatever situation you're in, right? That is the definition of meta, right? You know, what is it, like the most efficient tactic available, I think that's what meta stands for, right? So think about this as a casual for a second, right? Your choice of cars for a whole day is going to be limited to the same 5 cars. And you think that's going to be fun. You think, oh yeah, like, I'm really excited to drive the same 5 cars all day. Isn't that what you don't want? Isn't that why you don't drive meta in the first place? That's what I don't get. That's why I don't understand. Why is this a thing that exists? Now, hopefully, like I said earlier, this was only last Saturday, and they won't do this again. And this Saturday, it'll be something like no collision or extreme weather all day. That'd be awesome. That'd be so fucking awesome. An entire day of no collision would be probably the best day this game ever has in terms of PvP. Like, no meme. But there is part of me that's worried that that's not going to be the case. But, like I said, we'll see. Tomorrow, if that is the case, then I won't say anything at this point will be relevant. But if that isn't the case, then I will leave a pinned comment saying, okay, we have... you know, we got the modifier, it was no collision, or it was extreme weather, or it was whatever, right? It was something that, you know, made the game a lot more enjoyable for the day. It spiced things up, it was cool, and I'm now looking forward to see what the modifiers are going to be for next Saturday, right? So now I want to talk about another feature, quote unquote, that they added to the Grand Race, which was the low speed ghosting. I have never seen... It's actually... This is really funny. I genuinely think they wasted resources, and they did not QA test this at all, because I have seen this effect help someone, I think, twice within a week. It is the most useless shit I have ever seen in a racing game in my life. It kicks in like first gear, and that's it. After that, it is gone. We didn't ask for this. We asked for ghosted starts, not for ghosted first gears. You know what I mean? Oh, it's really frustrating. It honestly is really frustrating. It's like we ask Ivory Tower for something, and then we get something that just doesn't help. They're like, oh, you want ghosted starts? Here's ghosted first gear. I don't get it, man. Why did I go left here? I don't even know, man. Whatever. I know left is quicker, but what the fuck am I doing? Dude, I don't know, man. I like, the more I think about this game, the more I'm just like, what are we doing, man? We've given them a year, and they just, I don't think they don't care. Ivory Tower care a lot about this game, right? I feel like this game is like, at the moment, it's their golden goose, and it's one of Ubisoft's only like decent like avenues of money. So they kind of have to keep it, you know, going steady, right? But sometimes, man, it really does feel like Ivory Tower just do not give a single fuck about the Grand Race community at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, we have asked for changes to so many things over the year, and Ivory Tower are just, like, it's back to my point earlier about the highway. We asked in Season 5, there were too many highways, and throughout the entirety of the 4 months that Season 5 was out, we were like, hey, Ivory Tower, with Maui, there are now too many highways in the game. Can we please have less highways in Season 6? Can you remove some of these highways and instead have more technical routes? Season 6 came out, and we got the longest highway in the game that we've ever seen. That genuinely feels like they're spitting in our face. Like, what else is that supposed to be? There's no way they did not see the feedback that they got for Season 5. There's no way. And yet, we're still getting highways. We're still getting, you know, like, things that we're not asking for, right? We're not getting, you know, track changes that we want. We're not getting features that we're asking for. And these aren't, like, you know, completely, you know, out of... These aren't features that are, like, hard to implement, right? I don't think it's difficult for them to implement more routes that are technical over more highway routes. I don't think it's difficult for them to ghost the cars for the first section of the race, or maybe the whole race, right? I don't think that's hard. There's no way that's difficult for them. The code for them ghosting cars is already in the game. We have the no collision modifier. So why is it taking so long for them to just, like, listen to us and ghost cars for at least the first 10% of the race? I want the first 33%. I don't think 10% is enough, to be quite honest with you. But we don't know that because we haven't seen it. We don't know. The only form of ghosting that we have outside of no collision is when someone pauses the game, or when you know, you're going at a stupidly low speed that, like, you're basically not moving. That's it. That's all we have. And I'm starting to lose hope, man. I really am. Like, I don't know how else to put it into words. Like, it's just like, we've been asking for quality of life. And that's what this ultimately boils down to. We've been asking for quality of life changes for 6 months. Not 6 months, sorry, for over a year. Nothing. We haven't gotten anything. We've gotten some things that we want, actually. That's wrong. We've gotten a few things. But it's not enough. It's not enough. And I hate... Like, I sound like I'm a spoiled brat. I really do. But it's not enough, man. It isn't enough. For over a year of the game being out, it's just not enough. And I feel like I haven't even talked about desync in this game. The desync in this game is fucking atrocious. The only reason I haven't brought it up is because I don't think that's something they can fix. Like, to be honest, I don't think that's fixable, and I'm not gonna... Like, I'm not gonna have any problems if they don't ever fix that, because, to be honest, I don't think it's an issue. While I'm ending this video, I was just rewatching this, and I wanted to correct myself on what I just said. What I meant to say was, I do think desync is an issue. It's probably the biggest issue in the game by a fucking country mile. But unlike all of the other problems I've listed, I do not think it is a fixable problem. I think no matter what IVT do, the game will always have desync. It will always have netcode problems. That is just part of online gaming. It's part of the course, especially for a racing game. It's something that we're just gonna have to live with, right? Granted, like, there are things you can do to, you know, improve network stability, but I think that would require them just fixing, like, or just swapping engines entirely, and it's just not gonna be a thing. Not with Ubisoft's current, like, state and IVT's limited budget. There's no way that is even feasible right now, right? And that would also bringing an entire other slew of problems that I just, like, I don't even want to even think about right now, man, to be honest. But I also wanted to mention that I've actually missed out on a point when I was ranting. I wanted to talk about AGP, because I think AGP appears way too much in this season. It was already appearing too much in Season 5, but now it's basically doubled in Season 6. It's in every other playlist on average, probably even more than that. And it's not good enough to warrant it appearing this often. I'd actually argue, because of the motocross buffs, AGP is now by far the most unenjoyable car class in the entire game, even worse than Monster. But that's also because Monster appears once in the rotation. I think it's either, it might be twice actually, I might be wrong. I think it appears twice. But AGP appears a ridiculous amount of times, and it's not good enough to warrant it appearing so often. No one likes it, no one enjoys it, everyone fucking hates it, the casuals don't like it, the pros don't like it. Why are we making it appear so often, Ivory Tower? I don't understand. And my problem is that they're not going to change this for the entire season. We have to deal with this for 4 months. That is the main problem in this video. That is what I wanted, like, everything to boil down to. All of the problems that we have right now, we have to deal with them for the next 4 months. There's no, oh, in the mid-season update, we'll fix all these problems. You know, we heard you guys' feedback. We're gonna, you know, tone down on the highway routes. You know, we're gonna add less AGP. No. We have to deal with this for an entire season. Come Season 7, we have to just hope and pray that they'll change these things. And the reality is, they probably won't. They probably won't touch Grand Race as much as they did this season. And that's just the harsh reality of it, man. I really hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong. But that's the reality of it, man. But yeah, I think that about covers everything that I want to talk about. It's very Doomer video, very fueled on frustration, I will say. But I wanted to vent my frustrations about the state of Grand Racing in this game, because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like not a lot of people are talking about, like, a lot of these issues in Grand Races on YouTube. And even though I've got a really small viewer base, I really hope this video gets out there, right? And if it doesn't, whatever, right? I can just use it as a vent video. But, hey, man, if the right person sees it, you never know, right? You never know. But that's not what the point of this video is. The point of this video is that I wanted to, you know, just vent my feelings about the game, because I love it. I love this game. I love it to bits. I love, you know, driving in this game. I love, like, you know, finding cool niche cars and just, like, you know, taking them out in the Grand Race and see how they do, right? Most of the time they do fucking shit, like this fucking bag of shit you're seeing in the B-roll now. Slowest fucking car I've ever driven in my life. That's besides the point. That's besides the point. I want to make more content on this game. I want to enjoy the game. I want to play it with my team, with my friends. And while I'm doing that, I want to have a fun experience. I want to open the game knowing, okay, I'm not going to get bullshitted by these weird ass, like, game decisions and, like, this just lack of quality of life, right? And right now I don't feel that way. I feel like when I open the game, I'm sort of rolling the dice, like, am I going to have fun today? Or am I just going to get nuked on the first corner and there's just nothing I can do about it, right? Very, very frustrating. But, I mean, if anyone has any thoughts about anything, please, like, leave it down in the comment section. If you disagree with me, I'd also love to hear, you know, what you think of what I'm saying. But I think I've yapped enough now, so I'll leave it at that. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and I will catch you hopefully in the next video where we talk about some more positive things, like shit boxes. I want to talk about some shit boxes, so I'll see you then. Bye bye.